Hi everyone, it's Amy here from the blog I Think Therefore I Teach. Welcome to your next pop of ethics. This is going to be a 5-minute summary of the topic of conscience for the OCR spec. Let me set my timer up. Okay, here we go. So, the two main names for the topic of conscience is Aquinas and Freud. These are the two names that you need to know. So, Aquinas, first of all, looked at the ideas of ratio. Ratio is right reason. There's a lot of links here that can be made to the theory of natural law as well, so you can make some synoptic links across. So ratio or right reason is the way that you work out what you should and should not do. And this ratio is about going beyond the societal norms and expectations, and it is based on your reason and your understanding and through your conscience. So just like Jesus, who went beyond what society was expecting and wanted from him. Sorry, my cat has now disturbed this video. It's about taking it to that next stage and that next level based on right reason. This is then linked to synderesis. Synderesis and the synderesis rule, which is do good and avoid evil. Synderesis is the process of conscience. It's the thought process behind it, using your rector ratio and your right reason. And this all then is in line as well with conscientia. Conscientia is what I learn it as is conscience in action. It's the act of conscience. It's putting your conscience into actually action. Now, Aquinas did not believe that conscience was fallible. He did believe that it was flawed. He did believe there was elements there where things can happen because through the synderesis we are tempted by evil still, like Eve with the apple. We still have that temptation there. But for Aquinas, he did believe that we are naturally inclined towards doing good, unlike St. Augustine, who believed we were just always going towards the bad and the evil. For Aquinas, he did believe that humans were, through our amigo Dei, etc., through our links with God, we are directed towards goodness as much as we can. But occasionally things do go wrong, and he was aware of this. And so he looked at this idea of ignorance, and he said how ignorance, because of this potential evil element with us, or this potential sexual desire that we have within us, again all linking to the fall of man and the fall of Adam and Eve, can lead to this ignorance, and that bad things then happen. So he distinguished between two types of ignorance. We have vincible ignorance and invincible ignorance. Vincible ignorance is basically when you should have known better. It's when you have not listened to your rector ratio properly, you have not followed your conscience properly, and therefore you are fully responsible for what happens. Invincible ignorance is where you've done everything in the best capacity that you have to make the right decision, but bad things still happen. And this is because, again, you have had everything available to you, but bad things do happen. So for Aquinas, then, you are not morally responsible in an invincible ignorance way. So for example, somebody is dying on the side of a street, the ambulances come and they give them some pain medication. They're allergic to that pain medication and they die. They've done everything they can in their right understanding, but there was some information that they did not know, which is that they were allergic to that type of pain-killing medication, pain medication, and therefore they die. That then is an invincible ignorance, and it's not something that they're then responsible for. Aquinas gives the example of sleeping with another man's wife. Where he gets the example from, I do not know, but it's the idea that if you sleep with another man's wife and you know they're someone else's wife, then that is just wrong. You have followed those sexual desires, and that that is completely vincible ignorance. You should have known better. Invincible is where you think that they are your wife and they want you. Then that's invincible ignorance. Not quite convinced by that example myself, but anyway. That's pretty much Aquinas as far as our understandings. Guilt for Aquinas is this idea of letting God down, and then this can be relieved by God's grace. Freud is our alternative. Freud focuses on id, ego, and superego. The id is our pleasure, our need, want. Our ego is developed through our understandings of parental influences and society influences that tries to keep a hold of our id and our want desires. Then the superego is the one that's in charge. This is very much developed through behaviorism, this idea of punishment and reward. So when you are punished for something, you don't do it, that's internalized by your superego. When you're rewarded for something, you do it again, that's again internalized by your superego. And this is affected by parents and society. And your superego is very driven again by guilt. The idea is that what you should and should not do. So this idea of fear of punishment, again, from society. So for Freud, your conscience comes from society, your conscience comes from your superego, wanting to avoid those feelings of guilt and consequent punishment. Whereas for Aquinas, that guilt comes from letting God down. So for Aquinas, your conscience is recto ratio. There we go, not too bad for timings. So once again, Aquinas is based on recto ratio, the using of right reason, with synderesis, which is the process, and conscientia is doing it in action. So those three things combined lead you to making those right moral decisions, using your conscience in the right way. Occasionally bad things happen because of ignorance. Invincible ignorance, you are not held morally responsible for. Vincible ignorance, you should have known better. Hopefully you found that very, very brief summary useful. There are obviously other extra names that you can bring in, like Augustine, who's in It's the Voice of God, whereas Aquinas does not believe that. Aquinas does not believe reason is the voice, and conscience is the voice of God. Conscience is through reason. You've got John Henry Newman, who is an extra name as well that you can talk about. John Henry Newman talks about illative sense and feelings of guilt, and Joseph Butler talks about how it separates us from animals and helps us, it's automatic and authoritative. And then you have Piaget and Fromm as well. Piaget says we learn about it through our interactions with children when we're growing up, and then we create a more autonomous understanding of conscience. And then Fromm also talks about authoritarian versus humanitarian. So authoritarian, you are basically, your conscience is directed by people telling you, whereas humanitarian is more you making your free choices for your own well-being. But they are extra names that you all need to add into an essay as plumpers rather than necessary. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe in order to get regular updates for these. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching, folks. Bye for now.